The Thunderbirds team that last played here at Highmark Stadium after spaying the Indianapolis AlleyCats looked like they could beat anybody, and they did the next week, knocking off preseason favorite Chicago. However, 1 week later, they did the unthinkable and lost to the Detroit Mechanix, who hadn't won since 2017. Which team shows up today will determine what will happen in this chaotic UFA Central Division race. Everyone, welcome to Highmark Stadium. I'm Matt Weiss, the play-by-play voice of the Thunderbirds, alongside Thunderbirds legend, the human backwards hat, David Vatz, number 4, for this interdivisional UFA matchup between the home Pittsburgh Thunderbirds and the visiting Carolina Flyers.
Hard on yourselves. That's the bottom line.
And we talked about this just moments ago. The Thunderbirds have gotten into a horizontal offense, and here comes the first huck. Hoffenkamp and Shepard and Sanner underneath it, fighting for position, and it looks like Snell sends it up to, sorry, I missed that number, but Sanner's got it, pops it up to Lynch on the goal line, and they're off to the races, and it will be brought in by Matt Tucker. And your suggestion, Alex Mullen almost able to bid on that, but instead finds its way up to Youngst. Youngst looking, sees Terrence Mitchell going away from him. He's got backside help here. Got Graber and Mitchell, and wow, look at him elevate. Those two guys became as irrelevant as if they were in a video game, and Terrence Mitchell had his hand on the joystick. You know, I think that it's probably and here Anson Repperman's going to try Jojo McMonagle in the back of the end zone, and boy, does he drop a dime. McMonagle with a throw from Repperman to bring the Thunderbirds within 3, and Repperman
be calling a timeout and putting your D-line on your other D-line.
Here's Reed Duncan giving chase. He's got Fairfax behind him, and Fairfax makes a bid, doesn't get it, I don't think, but Duncan doesn't either. And
on him.
Logan Call in pursuit. This one goes up the line, and we've got a bid that works out with a block. But that rhythm and timing wasn't there. Fortunately, the Flyers give it right back on a dump that goes too far. And Carl Johnson's going to run down this Kenny Ferdella pass. Does he get his toes under it? He does! And the Thunderbirds pull within 1, accepting finally the gift from the Carolina Flyers. After 2 turnovers, they make it work. And now Brooks has it again. They're threatening. Lynch pops it up. Can Zach Byrne make magic twice? He can! Yes, he can! And let's see if they can move it off the line again. There's nothing easy there. The Flyers are playing in the shorts defense, and now Anil Driehaus and Max Shepard going to fight with it for Sanner. They've got height, and there's the Max we know. There's the Max we know coming from the backside, getting up above everybody, and the Thunderbirds are within 1. And the Thunderbirds have an opportunity to clamp the defense on. Can they take advantage? This one is bipped on the goal line by Youngst. And he throws a hammer over the top. Yarder finds Nickel. And hey, it's all tied up, ladies and gentlemen. And operating in the Thunderbirds' half of the field. Fake countdown, but we've really got about 10 seconds. And Mitchell's on his own, but Duncan making up the distance. But Mitchell has no trouble. He elevates, pulls it down, and grabs what could be the last goal of the quarter, but the Thunderbirds have 6 seconds left. And
you know, Shepard is so good that he's going to make up for mistakes that we make.
Now Jimmy Toll has to turn around on this, and he lays out. That throw was misread. It was a miscommunication, and Jonathan Mast throws it to a back-cutting Jimmy Toll, but instead he throws it around him, and Toll turns around, corners, plants, launches, and pulls it in for a goal.
Wow, really fantastic catch. They really did need a break. You know, they needed this kind of long point where the D was going to...
Let's see if Logan Call can extend the point. He can't. A perfect shot finds, looks like Dylan Hawkins in the back of the end zone. And so the Thunderbirds do give their offensive team.
Hoffenkamp was pretty deep already.
And you've talked about that before, that you don't want to throw a deep throw to somebody who's already deep, because you're giving yourself a tight window and turning it into a race. And a very nice over-the-top hammer. Was unable to convert, and suddenly, well, again, you see it there. The reset throws are not there, and almost to Callahan. Each one covered, and as easy as you please. There's Matthews. Is that you'll have your reset handler. He'll make a cut. If it's not there, then he Max Shepard. This one goes. Driehaus puts it over his head. Max can't catch it. And now Sanders got it, puts one into the end zone, and wow, things fall apart quickly, don't they? Interesting that they put this one on the sideline but did not apply the double team. And I think that shows the confidence they have in their reset defense, that they'd rather match up one-on-one. Max Shepard pulls one out, and he's got Anson Repperman deep, and he puts it where he doesn't even have to use that height. Settles beautifully into his hands over Drew Swanson, and the Thunderbirds add one before the half. It's 50. Now they're breaking out. There's Mitchell in the middle of the mix, as usual. Feeds it to Laviolette. About 10 seconds remaining. Pulls the trigger, and it is on the money. Pulled in just before the end line by Fairfax. And beautiful shot from Laviolette.
And boy, that really hurts.
Finally do what you suggested, which is to shake up this line. There goes Max Shepard, taking 2 defenders with him. Alex Davis is the one right next to him, and he outdistances him. And Matt Tucker launched himself there and almost came down with one in the end zone, which would be the ultimate insult to injury. There's Graber deep, and I think it was a good decision to jack it to him. We'll find out. Cam Belando tries to catch up, and no, Graber, he's on another planet. He's in a helium atmosphere, and Belando was here on Earth. And so at least a little bit of fireworks. They did what they're supposed to do, the Flyers did in the double team. They found the open guy, and without rain and wind, it was a pretty easy shot. A beautiful put by Laviolette that finds Fairfax in stride and answering back instantly. And boy, he is such a quick draw.
Good things that the Flyers do.
And give Laviolette credit on that. Sometimes as a defender, you read the, and there's Max Shepard, who tries to do the same thing, puts one up to Repperman, who bips it, catches it, and leaps across the goal line for his own Mac. Max Shepard, I think, put more blade on that than he wanted to, and it did what... To a lonely Laviolette. And Tobias Brooks flapping his arms like a crazy bird in front of him, and then he puts up a huck, a lot of touch on it, and it looks like only one guy can catch it, and he does. It's Anders Youngst in the back of the end zone, and the Flyers, who score a lot of points, are over 20. It's 20-12. Youngst feathers it up to Laviolette, and with that quick draw again, puts it out over a bidding Nichols, and Tobias Brooks gathers it in. There's on the 14th, Sunday the 14th, and finally, and here's a nice one from Mitchell over the top to Brooks, and boy, oh boy, does he make a nice grab, jumping up in that air that's usually occupied by Chris Graber and pulling it down nicely with one hand, and a heck of a throw, a little bladey from Mitchell, but right where he was. Finishing it up and thinking, wow, the Thunderbirds are as good as almost anybody in the Central. This could be an interesting season, and it's feeling less that way now. And rejected Carl Johnson Scuba by Tobias Brooks, and there's nothing left on the clock, and the Thunderbirds fall to the South Division leading Carolina Flyers 23-15 in a game that went from being neck and neck to a blowout in quicker than you can drop a dead.